Ever get a bouquet and wonder, how they get it looking so perfect? Today, we're going behind the scenes, checking out the flower and plant distribution manager gig.
Yeah, it's not just arranging roses. It's like you're orchestrating this whole fragrance symphony of logistics.
Exactly. It's a demanding role.
Fast-paced, delicate cargo, deadlines, customers breathing down your neck. But don't let that scare you off. With some prep, you can totally crush it.
And that's what we're here for, diving deep into those interview questions so you're ready to impress. Imagine this. You're face-to-face with the hiring manager, and they hit you with, tell us about your experience in flowers and plants.
Okay, so this is your moment to show them you're passionate, you know your stuff. Even if you haven't been a distribution manager before, think about related stuff.
Right, did you work at a florist, even just part-time?
Exactly. Or volunteered at a botanical garden. Maybe you're just like a hardcore gardener.
Huge green thumb.
Let that enthusiasm show.
Love it. Enthusiasm is contagious.
Right?
Speaking of contagious, inventory. We're dealing with, flowers don't last forever, right? So how do you handle and manage inventory?
This is where you get the whole perishable goods thing. Think FIFO, that first in, first out method. Explain why it's crucial for flowers.
Those lilies wilting, that's no good.
Right. Mention any software you've used, and don't be afraid to talk about a time inventory got tricky. Like, what about a heat wave threatening a tulip shipment? How'd you handle that?
You got to be adaptable in this biz. On the peak of keeping your cool, what about quality control? Making sure those flowers arrive looking amazing.
Yeah.
Would you answer, how do you ensure quality control?
Details, details, details. That's what this question's all about. Think about the whole journey, from field to florist.
It's a long trip for a delicate little flower.
It is. You might talk about that cold chain during transport, right? Keeping those flowers at the right temperature. And then the packaging got to minimize damage.
Like those little water tubes they use sometimes. So smart.
And having a system for when things go wrong. Because they will sometimes.
It's like you're the flower whisperer, ensuring a smooth and safe trip for these little guys. And speaking of journeys, let's talk logistics. Getting those tulips from point A to B on time and in perfect condition is like a logistical ballet. How do you manage logistics and transportation?
You got to show off those coordination skills and the ability to think fast on your feet. So talk about route optimization, building relationships with reliable carriers,
Making friends with the delivery drivers, I like it.
and how you handle the unexpected, traffic, weather, all that.
Oh, can you imagine a truck full of roses stuck in a blizzard? Talk about stressful. Even with the best plans, things happen. That's where your relationships with suppliers and growers come in. How do you maintain relationships with suppliers?
It's all about partnerships in this industry. You got to emphasize communication, understanding their needs, and being good at, solving problems together.
Because everyone needs their morning coffee, even flower suppliers.
Exactly. You could even share a story about a time you smoothed things over with a supplier. Maybe a last-minute flower shortage right before Valentine's Day, something like that.
Resourcefulness is key. Now, before we get to the customers, there's a question that might feel a bit, thorny. How do you ensure compliance with all the regulations and standards?
Oh, yeah, that one.
Not always the most exciting part of the job.
True, but the hiring managers, they care about this stuff. So this is your time to show you're a stickler for the rules. Talk about knowing the regulations, especially those about perishable stuff and worker safety. They want to know you're running a tight ship.
Safety first, always. Now you've tackled inventory, logistics, even the legal stuff. Let's talk customers. How do you ensure customer satisfaction? Because you're not just delivering flowers, you're delivering smiles.
That's it. You got it. You got to understand. Behind every order, there's an occasion, a gesture, maybe just someone who needs their day brightened. So, highlight clear communication with the customer, setting realistic expectations about delivery, and having a good system for handling complaints with empathy.
Because no one wants a wilted apology bouquet.
Speaking of handling things with care, they'll probably ask about your leadership style. In such a fast-paced environment, how do you manage a team? What would you say?
Be ready to talk about your leadership, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you collaborative? Do you empower your team? Or are you more directive, especially when deadlines loom?
Yeah.
And whatever your style is, highlight how you motivate, how you delegate, how you give feedback.
It's about creating that positive, productive vibe, even with all the thorns of deadlines and delicate flowers. Now, this industry is always changing, new trends popping up every season. So how would you answer? How do you stay up to date? Show them you're all about learning, always. Mention any industry magazines, websites, all that. Maybe you took a course on sustainable floristry or attended a virtual conference about the latest in greenhouses.
I love that. Always be learning. Speaking of staying ahead of the curve, you know what else can give you an edge? RoleCatcher. And we're not just talking about their awesome AI platform that helps you tailor your resume and cover letter, though that's super helpful. It gets even better.
RoleCatcher also has this, AI-powered interview practice thing. Wild
It
one.
analyzes your answers, gives you feedback. It's like having a career coach in your pocket.
For real, you can even practice those tough behavioral questions. You know, the ones like, tell me about a time you had to solve a difficult problem. They always throw those in.
Ugh, yeah, those were always a bit nerve-wracking. Any tips for tackling this?
Totally. So remember the STAR method.
Star. Refresh my memory.
Situation, task, action, result. It's a way to structure your answer, make it super clear and impactful.
Ah, right. So you're painting a picture for them.
Exactly. So let's say a storm delayed a shipment of orchids. You tell them about the situation, your task, getting those flowers there, ASAP, the actions you took.
Finding a new shipping route, maybe?
Yeah. Yes. And then the result. The flowers arrived on time, the event was a success, everyone's happy.
They love a happy ending. So you nail the interview, land the job, congrats.
Yeah.
What's next? What does a career path look like for a flowers and plants distribution manager?
Okay, so you've got this great foundation, right? From here, you could become a logistics manager.
Ooh, moving on up. More responsibility.
Definitely. Bigger teams, more complex operations, even shaping the company's whole supply chain strategy. Pretty cool, right?
Very cool. And for someone passionate about sustainability, maybe they'd aim for a supply chain manager role.
Absolutely. You'd be overseeing everything from sourcing to delivery and making sure it's all efficient, sustainable. And of course, customers are happy. It's a demanding job, but so rewarding if you're into fast-paced and strategic thinking.
Sounds like a lot of potential in this field. We focused a lot on interviews, but it's good to remember the bigger picture. What are the essential skills someone needs to thrive in flower and plant distribution?
It's a blend, really. Passion, organization, and being able to adapt on a dime. Remember those key things from the RoleCatcher Career Guide? Managing inventory, working with partners, mastering logistics.
It's like being a conductor, but with flowers instead of instruments.
Yeah, and never stop learning. Always be looking for ways to grow. And this might sound cheesy, but you gotta love the product.
It's true. It's not just boxes and trucks. It's something beautiful.
Exactly. Knowing how to handle those unique challenges and rewards, that's what sets people apart. Speaking of setting yourself apart, we've mentioned RoleCatcher a lot.
For good reason. Their platform is amazing. Those AI tools are so helpful for job seekers.
Absolutely. And it's not just resumes and cover letters. Their career guides, like the one we talked about, they're packed with info.
Seriously, it's like having a career counselor on call, but way less expensive.
Right. You can check out different roles, salaries, even figure out skills you didn't know you had. It's awesome.
I had to check it out myself. So, someone's listening, they're intrigued. How do they get started with RoleCatcher?
Easy peasy. Go to their website, RoleCatcher.com, create a free account. That's it. You can browse careers, get job recommendations tailored to you, even network with other professionals.
So cool how tech can connect people with opportunities like that.
Yeah.
I love those personalized job recommendations. No more endless scrolling on job boards.
Right. RoleCatcher streamlines everything, makes it less stressful. But remember, tools are great, but your passion, how prepared you are, that's what makes you stand out.
Find that sweet spot where your skills and your passion meet. That's the ticket. Okay, before we wrap up our flower-filled deep dive, any final thoughts for aspiring distribution managers out there?
This industry is always changing. Embrace those challenges, celebrate the wins, and never underestimate the power of a well-placed sunflower.
Love it. And on that cheerful note, this has been so much fun learning about the world of flower power, the behind-the-scenes stuff.
It really has, yeah. And don't be intimidated. Knowledge is power.
100%. So do your research, use the tools out there like our friend RoleCatcher, and let that passion bloom.
Yes. When you're excited about it, people can tell. Makes all the difference.
Okay, last question. For those ready to turn their love of flowers into, well, a career, what's your one piece of advice as they walk into that interview room?
Be yourself. Let them see your enthusiasm, that you're organized and ready to handle whatever comes up. This isn't just any job. You're bringing something special to the table.
Beautifully said. It's about finding that perfect fit for you, where your talents and passions line up. This has been amazing, a real deep dive into flowers and plants distribution management. Until next time, everyone, best of luck with the job hunt.